the world's most luxurious steak, but have you ever wondered how it's made? Deep within this factory, specialized machines work tirelessly to raise the finest cattle with a diet and environment unlike any other. But how does this unique process turn a humble cow into the mouth-watering delicacy that commands top dollar? What hidden techniques, and perhaps even secrets, go into the making of every tender, marbled cut? Stick around as we unveil the fascinating, little-known journey of Wagyu beef from the factory to your plate. Wagyu beef is renowned as one of the finest meats in the world, commanding high prices in restaurants and on the global market. But what exactly goes into producing this extraordinary delicacy, and how did it come to be a symbol of luxury? To understand the intricacies of Wagyu beef production, we need to start from the very beginning in the rolling hills and specialized facilities of Japan, where the journey of this highly marbled, tender beef begins. Wagyu, meaning Japanese cow, refers to specific breeds of cattle that have been raised for centuries with meticulous care and attention to detail. While the breed itself dates back to the 2nd century AD, it was in the early 20th century that Japan began to refine and define what would later be known as the Wagyu beef industry. The term Wagyu refers to 4 specific breeds: Japanese black, Japanese brown, Japanese shorthorn, and Japanese polled. Of these, the Japanese black breed is the most famous, known for its rich intramuscular fat, which gives the beef its signature marbling and tenderness. But how did this unique method of cattle raising become the global phenomenon it is today? The history of Wagyu beef production can be traced back to a time when these cattle were initially used as draft animals in Japan, helping farmers with agricultural work. Over time, however, the Japanese started focusing on breeding and feeding techniques that would enhance the cattle's meat quality, creating a product that was unlike anything the world had ever seen. These cattle were primarily raised in specific regions of Japan, such as Kobe, Matsusaka, and Omi, which became famous for producing the finest beef in the world. In terms of production, Japan remains the leader in the market, producing an estimated 2,000 tons of Wagyu beef annually. However, other countries have begun to follow suit. Australia and the United States, in particular, have entered the Wagyu beef production scene in the past few decades, though their methods differ from the traditional Japanese methods. Australia, for example, has been producing a significant quantity of beef, using a mix of imported Japanese cattle and local breeds to meet growing demand. In fact, Australia's Wagyu production has been on the rise, with estimates suggesting that it now produces around 5,000 tons of Wagyu beef each year. The cost of producing Wagyu beef is another fascinating aspect of its production process. A single cow can cost tens of thousands of dollars depending on its breed, bloodline, and quality. The process of raising cattle is expensive and requires careful attention. Farmers often invest heavily in the cattle's feed and care, which are key to achieving the signature marbling that makes beef so desirable. In Japan, a farmer may spend over 5 years raising a single cow, feeding it a specialized diet that includes grains, barley, and sometimes even beer, which helps to relax the cattle and contribute to their unique fat distribution. Transportation of beef is a critical aspect of the production process. In Japan, where each region has its own dedicated Wagyu farms, the raw meat must be carefully transported under strict temperature controls to maintain quality. After slaughtering, the beef is typically aged in controlled environments to ensure optimal texture and flavor. This aging process can take up to several weeks, depending on the specific cuts being produced. The final product is then shipped worldwide, with a premium price tag attached to every piece of beef. Countries such as the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom have become major consumers of Wagyu beef, where it is sold in high-end restaurants and luxury markets. The production of Wagyu beef also involves a delicate balance between automation and manual labor. In the early days of the industry, much of the process was manual, with farmers overseeing every aspect of the cattle's care, from feeding to health monitoring. Today, however, modern technology has made its way into the production process, especially in the slaughtering and processing stages. Machines are now used to cut and package the beef in factories, allowing for greater efficiency and consistency. However, the human touch is still crucial, especially when it comes to the care of the cattle and the aging process of the beef. Challenges in Wagyu beef production are numerous. One of the most significant obstacles is maintaining the high level of quality and consistency that consumers expect. As demand for Wagyu beef increases, farmers must constantly adapt to new methods of breeding and feeding to ensure that their cattle meet the strict standards of quality. Sourcing raw materials, such as grains and barley for feeding, can also be a logistical challenge, particularly when global supply chains are disrupted. In some cases, farmers have had to rely on imported feed from overseas to maintain their production levels. The process of producing Wagyu beef begins with the careful breeding of the cattle, which is typically done in specialized facilities known as farms or ranches. These facilities focus on producing high-quality, genetically superior animals that will later be raised for meat production. Farmers select animals with desirable traits such as good marbling potential and strong health characteristics, ensuring that the calves produced will have the genetic makeup needed for high-quality beef. Once the calves are born, they are raised in a controlled environment where their diet is closely monitored. The traditional Japanese method of raising cattle involves feeding them a specialized diet of grains, barley, and sometimes even rice straw. Some farmers will go so far as to hand-feed their cattle, ensuring that each animal receives the exact nutrients it needs to develop properly. The feed is crucial in achieving the marbling that gives Wagyu beef its distinctive flavor and texture. The time it takes to produce Wagyu beef is extensive compared to other types of beef. It typically takes 3 to 5 years to raise a Wagyu cow to maturity, and during that time, the cattle are closely monitored for health and development. The most critical period of a cow's life occurs in the final stages of its growth, when the marbling begins to develop. Farmers may even massage the cattle or provide them with beer or sake to encourage relaxation and improve the fat distribution in their bodies. The final step of the production process involves slaughtering and processing the cattle, which is done in strict adherence to Japanese standards. Once the cattle are slaughtered, the beef is aged in carefully controlled conditions to enhance its flavor and tenderness. The meat is then meticulously cut into individual portions and packaged for distribution. Throughout the process, the focus remains on maintaining the high quality that has made Wagyu beef a luxury product. Economic factors also play a significant role in the production of Wagyu beef. The price of beef is largely determined by the grade of marbling, which is assessed using a grading system that evaluates the fat content in the beef. A higher grade of marbling translates to a more expensive cut of beef. Wagyu beef can fetch astronomical prices, with some cuts reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars per pound. This high cost is partly due to the labor-intensive nature of its production, as well as the cost of raising the cattle over such a long period. The growing demand for Wagyu beef worldwide has led to an increase in production across the globe, particularly in countries like the United States and Australia, where cattle are bred in a similar manner to Japan's Wagyu cattle. While the methods may vary, the desire to recreate the marbling and texture of traditional Japanese Wagyu beef remains the same. As the global appetite for this premium product grows, the future of Wagyu beef production will continue to evolve, balancing tradition with innovation to meet the increasing demand for one of the world's most coveted culinary delights. In conclusion, the production of Wagyu beef is a meticulous, time-consuming process that combines centuries-old traditions with modern technology to create one of the finest culinary experiences in the world. From breeding to feeding, to the careful processing and aging of the beef, every step is designed to ensure that the end product is of the highest quality. The journey of Wagyu beef, from its origins in Japan to its place on luxury menus worldwide, is a testament to the dedication and passion of those involved in its production, as well as the ongoing global demand for this unparalleled delicacy. Thank you so much for sticking with us until the end of this journey into the fascinating world of Wagyu beef production. We hope you enjoyed diving into the intricate process behind one of the most prized meats in the world. If you're hungry for more stories about how food is made, we've got plenty more videos to keep you hooked. Just click on the next video to continue exploring the amazing ways food is crafted on a mass scale. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps us out and lets us know you're enjoying the content. Also, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a behind-the-scenes look at your favorite food-making processes. What food-making process would you like us to break down next? Your suggestions help shape the future of the channel, and we can't wait to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.